Duncan on Donnie, the podcast with Zen Zero and Ty.
Bye.
All right.
What's happening, party people? Welcome back to another episode of Duncan on Donnie. I'm Ty Style.
I'm Zen Zero.
This week, we're going to kick it off with the catastrophe of catastrophes, the Strait of Hormuz. This dude is just completely making a complete, what's the word I'm looking for? It always takes me a little time to find my words in the beginning of the episodes, but he's making a mess of the situation.
Well, he is costing the world dearly, yeah. This seems to have other implications that it might have been, I don't know if it's part of the plan, but now Netanyahu is talking about making a pipeline directly from Saudi Arabia all the way to Israel so that they can circumvent having to deal with the Strait.
I mean, these people, they keep putting Band-Aids on the situation. I mean, at the end of it, these struggles have been going on in this area for way too long now. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like so many lives have been lost, so many children are parentless, so many parents are childrenless, so much hurt and so much pain. It's like building another pipeline is not going to fix the situation.
No, but they're yeah, no, that's very true. That's like one of the things. They are still trying to expand their borders, and they're trying to eradicate the only threat that they really have in the Middle East.
I mean, really, how much of a threat has Iran?
I'm talking about Israel, not America.
No, that's what I mean. How much of a threat has Iran?
Never as much as Israelis claim.
There's have always been towards them.
No, I know, they haven't, but you have to also understand that they are the only power there that has any possibility of giving them a fighting chance. Lebanon's trying, Hezbollah's trying.
Okay, but on some levels, I feel
that's
uncomfortable on some level, always stressing the Israel connection, but they are at the center of all of this.
They are at the center of all of this, and this is something that everybody is opening their eyes to.
Yeah, but at the end of it, especially when it comes to America, like so many people have been saying, Netanyahu has been trying to convince every American president since, Clinton, or maybe even Bush before him?
Bush before, because the Iraq War was pretty much his idea.
You know what I mean? Maybe even going back as far as Carter before the first Bush. You know what I mean? He's been trying to convince presidents to do his bidding in the Middle East. But this idiot Trump is the only one to actually fall for it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because I think on top of this is that he knows that he doesn't have to worry about political office from now on, or he can't have any political office from now on.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because he has now been captured yelling and screaming about things in the White House so erratically when they were doing the search and rescue for the downed American pilot.
Yeah.
One of the things he was yelling was that I believe Carter found himself in the same situation or similar situation.
But that was in Iran with the kidnapping of the...
Yeah, but he's referring to that and saying that didn't turn out well for Carter. Like, he lost the vote mainly because of that. So my point is,
the whole
the AIDS,
oil embargo.
Well, he was in the Situation Room because they were doing an active military operation, and his aides had to take him out of the Situation Room because he was being so crazy and erratic. But in his mind, he's still thinking about getting votes.
He can't get no votes. Exactly.
Well,
he's that far gone.
The November election primaries. That's one thing.
The midterm elections.
The midterms, yeah. That's something that he might be thinking about, because if the House can take over, then they could get enough votes. And
if the Democrats take over the House.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, they could impeach him. There's so many articles of impeachment that could be leveled against him. I mean, corruption, bribery.
Fraud.
Well, what fraud as president? That's the thing.
As president?
Yeah.
Well, again,
impeachment has to be what he does as being president.
There's too many insider trading things going on.
But that would be corruption.
Yeah. Corruption and fraud as well, because it's being fraudulent towards the system.
I don't know.
Nobody's I'd say whatever, fraud, corruption.
What I was checking out recently was this whole thing with Poly Market, and these, what are they called? They're called they're not called betting site. They're called futures I forgot what they're called. Here's another graphic explaining what they're called. But anyhow, there's poly market and there's another one. Anyhow, Donald Trump Jr. is on the board of both of those companies.
Yeah.
Kalshi, poly market and Kalshi, where it's like you can basically place bets on anything in the world. You know what I mean? And there's already been indications that someone that has some kind of inside information has been placing bets and getting ridiculously rich off of those bets.
Yeah, but that's just one thing. He's been shown to do this within a multitude of other instances, whether it's crypto, whether it's stocks, whether it's all kinds of things where weird buys have been bought. Trump goes out and says something, market freaks out, and then somebody makes a lot of money in that chaos. So like the mere fact of the matter that he historically, even like this was before he was president, but like Trump has a large history of fraudulent behavior.
Yeah, we talked about it last episode. He was actually convicted, or at least not him, but his organization, Trump organization, was convicted of fraud in 2022.
It's not uncommon. That's his entire MO, pretty much.
I mean, I think for the most part, it's obvious now he's a con man. Everything that he's been about has been a con. I just don't. Yeah. It's shameful that so many, like this right-wing ideology and this right-wing, or it says something about where the world is, that this right-wing ideology is, how do you say, drifting over to so many different countries. It shows you where the morals of the people in these countries are.
Well,
like if you see what happened with Viktor Orban, for example, he's pretty much the Euro Trump. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
or Trump is trying to incorporate some of the things that he actually got done in Hungary in the United States.
Yeah.
They've had so many people go over from the Republicans to Ukraine and vice versa. I think they had a CPAC Hungary. You know what I mean?
That wouldn't surprise me at all.
That's crazy. But I think it's fantastic that he lost. I have seen some bootlickers on the internet. Like since I posted, you know, okay, after 16 years, the population of Hungary finally woke up. And a couple of people were, oh, but you don't know what this guy is going to be. You don't know he's going to be just as bad. I'm like, you don't know what this guy is going to be. We know what Viktor Orban's been throughout all these years. His track record is clear. Whether or not this person comes along, whether they're going to be as bad or not, we still have to give them time to actually show that. You know, one guy was like, oh, you're going to see he's going to be just as bad. I'm like, oh, so you can read the future. Why are you not playing the lottery instead of sitting here worrying about the political situation in Hungary? Because I think a lot of people just devote a lot of time. They go into these misinformation sites and they see, it's like they have the same talking points. Like all these misinformation places are just saying the same thing. So everyone's just regurgitating these things. Oh, he's going to be just as bad. Why do you say that? You know, I watched his acceptance speech. At least it was in Hungarian, so they had the translation. So as much as you can trust the translation, he said that he was going to try to change in a more Eurocentric, that moved closer towards Europe and the European ideas.
Yeah, no, this is true, because Orban was the one person or one country that was going against all of these other things, like sanctioning Israel.
He was causing lots of problems, you know what I mean? Causing problems with the sanctions against Russia, you know, against, how do you say, how much resources were going towards Ukraine. He was, let's say him, he was a hindrance to what needed to be done in that part of, in that war, in that conflict.
Yeah, but again, like because I looked into what was going to happen and who this guy that they elected was, because I wanted to know why Hungary was so interesting in the European thing, because they were talking, why were they against the sanctions towards Israel? And then they, as many other countries, have contracts with Israel for buying or selling weaponry. And that is apparently a big enough deal for them. So what he said was they might be able to now go in the European line of sanctioning Israel, but they wanted to have it open so that they can still do business with them, because it's a large enough part of their economy that they can't not do it.
That's granted, but I mean, besides the Israel situation, just having someone new. I mean, if someone has a track record, this is the same thing with Trump. If this person has proven year after year, time after time, opportunity after opportunity, that they do not know how to manage either business or political or personal situations, then you have to at least go with the new person. You know what I mean? As far as I've seen it, he said that he's like, for example, they're not talking about legalizing gay marriage in Hungary, but he's saying that the government shouldn't basically prosecute someone for who they love. And he said that in his acceptance speech. That is a complete 180 from Viktor Orban's stance. Whether or not he actually puts that into effect, whether or not it actually becomes a part of the new government or the idea or the direction the government moves in is another story. But we can only, at least for now, take him at his word, take him for what he said.
Yeah, I think he'll be a hell of a lot better leader than Orban has for the last 16 years. So, I mean, hats off to you.
Yeah,
You know what
exactly.
you need to do.
And to
Take
the people in Hungary.
inspiration from this, America. You know what you need to do.
Everywhere, y'all need to see that, you know, when people have been faced with the reality of these ideologies, when you actually do let these people have their way, they make a complete mess of things.
Yeah, 100%.
Whether it's in Argentina, where Malay, you know what? I heard Malay and Netanyahu are cousins.
Surprise, surprise.
Did you hear this too?
I did not.
I don't know whether or not this is true. I'm gonna actually double check it. Here goes the graphic here. But the former prime minister, who I think he's in prison now for embezzlement or some kind of corruption.
Okay.
But the former prime minister of Argentina is cousins with the current prime minister of Israel.
Well, isn't it Argentina that's letting a bunch of the Israelis come in now?
Well, they also let the
Well, it got
the
really
Nazis
weird.
coming back in the day.
No, but that's my point, because they said also that if you were able to build house or build on property that has burnt down, and all of a sudden,
in Argentina or in
in
Israel?
Argentina, and then all of a sudden all these forest fires started happening,
Oh.
and they found out because there's on
Freelance.
video. Well, it's unfortunately Israelis went there and set fucking shit on fire. So
Be like Israel South.
pretty much, the expanse is real and it's happening, and like it's not like they can hide from this. Like for example, those forest fires, somebody was caught on camera setting them.
Yeah.
So it turned from speculation to verification.
That's the deal.
And that's the deal, exactly. So I'm not at all surprised that there would be family ties.
I'm not 100% saying that. I
I'm
think
not
I
saying
heard that
either.
somewhere. I think I remember because Netanyahu's last name is
Milikovsky.
Milikovsky, and Milei is another version. It's like the Latino version of that. So I think they're fathers or brothers. One went to Israel, the other one went to Argentina. That would be some crazy shit. I mean, that's the reality of it. I think a lot of what the problem is that we have a ruling class. There's very few people that are like normal people that work their way up. You know, they say they were doing something before, and then they were like, oh, you know what, this is messed up. I want to go be a part of the change. And they actually go do it. You know what I mean? Most of these people are just like, I want to be a ruler, and I'm going to be a ruler. And they become rulers, and they become shitty rulers.
Yeah, it's not uncommon.
No, I think the personality, the type of personality of someone that wants to tell people what to do is not the type of personality of someone that should be telling people what to do.
That's been, we've already known this. That's been declared thousands of years ago. That
Yeah,
best people to be in charge are the ones who don't want to be.
A lot of what happens in my mind is like when I'm editing the shows, like I see like facts about what it is that we're talking about. And those things become stuck in my mind. So I'd talk about them in the next show, like reinstate? No, not reinstate. Reestablish? Yeah. And reinforce is the word I'm looking for. Reinforce these ideas because it's like, building on what we spoke about last time and what the research led me to into this time. Maybe I should edit the shows a little bit further apart.
Possible. It's,
But Don't forget to like and subscribe. We're trying to push this together. We're trying to pull these ideas, you know, trying to connect the dots between what's happening in the world in general, the American impact or the US regime's impact on all the rest of these things, and how that kind of spirals out to wherever you are in the world. If you're in the Caribbean, if you're in South America, wherever you are, like this virus, this infection is spreading, I think, almost uncontrollably.
Well, again, this is gone in cycles. The right-wing rise up has happened multiple times before. That's what I grew up in.
What do you mean?
The right-wing had a big upsurge in the 90s where here in Sweden we had skinheads, large groups of skinheads running around causing all kinds of...
But would you say, I mean, politically, were they starting to take positions in the government then also?
Well, that's where Ny Demokrati started as an outsider party focusing on things like this. Yeah, 100%. Because what is now Sverigedemokraterna used to be Vitt ariskt motstånd back in the 90s.
Okay. But they weren't getting this amount of votes. It wasn't up to 20% back then.
But what? No, I'm talking about prehistory. They didn't exist then. They were Nazis in the 90s.
But they weren't a part of the political system.
They hadn't gotten that far.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, well, after the 90s, once the opposition rose up so bad that they were like, oh, fuck, we can't be doing this anymore. Yeah. They realized that if we stop shaving our heads, stop wearing bomber jackets, stop wearing boots, grow out our hair, put a suit on, then maybe people will listen to us. And Ny Demokrati at that point already started addressing this to a point where people who already had opinions about it felt strongly about any form of immigration politics, because it's the same thing. We've been taking in a large amount of immigrants in Sweden since the 70s, I believe. I don't remember exactly.
And can you imagine the country hasn't completely falling apart yet?
No, but that's what all of the opponents right now, and why Sverigedemokraterna has managed to gain such attraction, because they consider it the decline of traditional Sweden, whatever the fuck that is. But this is, yeah, my point is, in the 90s, this was already a part of society. I grew up in a very racist Sweden. That's what I remember.
When you say a part of society, like when I think of
politicalized, right wing.
No, but when I think of a part of society, I mean like people are voting for them into the government.
I know.
They become legitimate.
That's from where they came.
No, but in the 90s, they were not legitimate, correct? They were not like an accepted part of like, yeah.
They weren't a political
organization.
No, but they were the surface tension of what was brewing below in the Swedish society. My point is, Sweden didn't just all of a sudden decide to be racist. It's been racist for a long time.
Well, now it's more okay to be racist, I would say.
Yeah, because again, there's not like Swedish is racist, but there's a lot of racists in Sweden.
I'm sure if you ask a lot of people who are racist, if they're racist, they would say no, because they don't understand what it is to actually be racist.
No, they do, and that's the difference between what's happening now, because now it's coming forward.
But in Sweden, you have this, you're inte racist, men. Like, I'm not racist, but...
But that's where rör inte min kompis from back in the day came from. Yeah, the same exact mentality. Nothing's really changed. Yeah. It's just that more people are comfortable saying these things out in the open. And now they want the change that they consider has happened due to all of these things, whether or not they have verifiable data or if they're victim blaming or blaming a larger part of the population that hasn't been doing this for what a smaller piece of the population are doing. Then point still is more so now than ever, people are comfortable doing it. Like, it's been so far, I don't know if this is happening in Sweden as well, but in America, they're driving on the campaign, the white people don't have to be ashamed to be white anymore.
I mean, to be racist anymore. Yeah.
Point, exactly, case in point. And that's what I'm trying to explain to you.
At what point did white people have to be ashamed of being white?
Because since the 90s and onward, like, that's the reason why they've stopped exclusively going after a lot of the black and Hispanic population, even though they are the largest ones in being involved with police and police brutality in the United States. But they got so much shit for doing that because it became so apparent that what they were doing.
I don't understand. Like my question was, when should have white people felt ashamed for being white?
Well, Mike,
there was no
trying
point
to explain to you, during these couple of last 20 years or so, white people have felt like they are realizing their white privilege and that they've been treating people wrong. Well, this is something that happened in the United States. It's not...
but I'm aware of that, but...
You're asking me when they started realizing or feeling guilty about being white.
Well, when was it
Well,
a
let
thing
me explain
that people...
it to you here. It's the same thing that happened in Sweden.
Okay.
All of a sudden, you weren't allowed to raise the Swedish flag because if you did, it was considered racist. And that is also something that happened back...
I think because the racists had co-opted the flag.
My point exactly, but it meant that led to normal Swedish people fearing to raise the Swedish flag.
No, I think if someone takes something from you and you feel like it's worth something, you have to take that back.
You can think whatever you want. I've witnessed this specifically because my entire family is Swedish.
I think when we have these discussions, when you say something and you talk about it from what the reality is, I object to it from it didn't have to be like that. And it doesn't have to be like that.
It doesn't have to be like that, but these are things that have happened. And this is why we are in the point we are at. Even though it didn't have to be like that, that's just a what if. But we're talking about what is. And what is because the people have felt all of these things that I'm trying to explain to you. There was no, whether or not they should have or not.
Exactly.
That's a different thing. They have, and this is why we are here right now.
Who do you blame for your neuroses?
I don't know. I don't have any neuroses.
No, I'm not saying,
I know.
Let's just, hypothetically, if you had neuroses, who would you blame that for?
I've never thought about that.
Or who would you blame for that?
I don't know.
You should blame yourself, because it's what's happening inside your mind.
But that might not necessarily be something you can control if it's chemical imbalances.
No, but we're talking about chemical imbalances. We're talking about putting up a flag. So if you feel bad about putting up a flag, and there aren't people that's telling you, hey, if you put up a flag, then you're racist.
No, but that is what people were told. So
by who? By the people that are feeling the racism? Or by other people that would...
No, by society started adopting... In Sweden specifically, we've had this big brother idea that the government is the big brother. And what happened... Everybody does not have that, no.
Every country has that. The government is big brother everywhere.
Well, here so more than other places. And it made people feel like they could not do anything with the flag because racism, as you said, the same thing with the Nazis taking over the swastika and other symbols that have nothing to do with being racist. But the same thing happened here. There was enough racism coming to the surface using the Swedish flag as a weapon, if you want, and then that made people in society trying to combat that start pointing fingers to the point where regular Swedish people didn't feel like they could raise the flag without being accused of being racist, which is wrong because you should be able to raise your fucking flag whenever you want.
Exactly. You shouldn't allow the racists to first and foremost take that flag from you.
No, but that is what happened. And now, so a lot of people have been sitting with this, boiling, having had that be part of their reality. We haven't. And now
all of a sudden they become racist because they pissed off that they weren't allowed to raise the flag before? I don't understand.
No, you're conflating two different things. I'm saying because of having the shame of not being able to be Swedish. This is what happened again. This is what you're seeing in the voter booths.
But you're taking two steps there, buddy. It's like you can't go from, if I raise my flag, people are going to think I'm racist, to now I feel bad for being racist.
We don't know if wanting to raise the Swedish flag is racist.
I don't think so.
No, and me neither. So
exactly.
I wasn't talking about that.
100% of us don't think that right now.
No, but I was saying that having had this idea as a country that you're not allowed to represent your nationality without fear of shit happening is what caused the Sweden Democrats and New Demokrati to get a foothold because people started feeling this en masse.
So you're feeling something that's not really real because no one's really accusing you of being racist simply for raising the flag. I mean, was there like an outcry of don't raise the flag, otherwise you're racist?
We'll have to look that up. But this is how it was growing up in this country, and I know it for a fact because I have members of my family who
I remember
the same
that when I first came here, there was this discussion of people don't usually raise, because I mean, but in general, was there a tradition of raising the flag before that?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, so there was a tradition of everyone raising the flag. So then, if everyone was already raising the flag, how did it go from everyone raising the flag to the people that raised the flag are racist?
Because as I was just telling you about, in the 90s,
Was it like a break in between?
The 90s, when the skinheads started coming out in mass, and this became a problem.
But if everyone's already raising the flag, how do they know people are raising it because they're skinheads or because they're already raising it?
Were you not here for that? No, when the skinheads started taking over and waving the Swedish flag, screaming Nazi all over the fucking place, it became an issue in the Swedish identity.
So then first everyone was raising the flag, and then because the skinheads started raising the flag, then the other people got associated with the skinheads because they were raising
Happened
the flags
over
too.
a mere, 10 years or so, but yeah, it happened.
Okay. But now there aren't not that many skinheads anymore.
Because as
And I
I
don't think
told
it's-
you, they are now Swedish Democrats.
But it's
Sweden
not.
Democrats.
But now it's cool to raise the flag again.
I don't know, I haven't seen the flag as much.
I'm okay with the flag. I've been raising the flag too. I take pictures with the flag when I can.
I haven't been here for 12 years, and in 12 years, a lot of shit happened.
Yeah, things happen. But I think it's a bit like, you can't let people take something from you because you're given, like, I worked a lot in the underground scene.
Mm-hmm.
When I first came in the underground scene, there was like I wouldn't say gatekeepers, but there were people that would guide you through. Hey, don't do this, don't do that, be careful of this, look out for that, don't do this, don't do that. You know what I mean? Now those things don't exist anymore. Those people don't exist anymore. And in my opinion, the scene has gone to shit because there's no guidance, you know? So I don't necessarily get mad at the people that come in that didn't have the guidance why the scene is shit. I get mad at the people who deserted the scene and weren't there to kind of bring up the next generation to kind of bring them along with the same code that we had. So there's blame on both sides. You know, if you have pride in your country and someone is conflating that pride with racism or whatever it is, you have to stand up and be like, nah, I'm not racist. I don't behave that way. I just have pride in my country. And keep the fucking...
Have you talked to any actual Swedes about how they feel about this?
Yeah, a few times. But I think there's a lack of, or there's a desire not to have conflicts in this culture. Mm-hmm. To take the easy way out and be like, okay, I'm just gonna skip that. And I don't think that's necessary.
That's why shit has bubbled underneath the surface.
That's not healthy.
Well, nobody said it was healthy. I'm telling you, this is why the Sweden Democrats have such a large part of the population voting for them, because this is something that's been brewing for a while.
But let me tell you something though. If I'm not racist, and the racists take over the flag, and then people are accusing me of being racist because I put up my flag, I'm not gonna now become racist and start voting for the racist party. So I don't really understand how that bubble.
The racist party went from being, we are completely racist, to these are things happening in society that we can point a finger at immigration for, so we don't have to be connected with pure racism. But everybody who has issues with this culture, and a lot of Swedish people are racist, it's undeniably true.
Of course.
But it has now seeped into a larger part of the population who also consider these issues a problem, which is how the people who used to be skinheads and racists and Nazis now are the third largest party. I'm not really sure how this
I think they're
is.
second, aren't they?
Second.
Third.
Third. No, I think they're second after Moderaterna.
Yeah, that's still shit.
Oh, I mean, so that's Socialdemokraterna, sorry. I think it's Socialdemokraterna, then Sverigedemokraterna, then Moderaterna in the latest poll I saw. Could be wrong.
I mean, if you look at what's happening in America, like I wrote a thing maybe 6, 7, no, more than that, before the first Trump presidency, saying that maybe it would be good if he won, because he would make such a mess of things that all the people that have those similar ideas would see that those ideas don't work, they're dysfunctional, and then kind of drift away from it. It's kind of like when I was a little kid, I used to love eating chicken. Love it. I still love eating chicken too. But my dad one time, he was like, I'm gonna fix you. I'm gonna fix you.
What do you mean, fix you?
We went down to Church Avenue. It's a part of Brooklyn where you usually get like cheap things. We went to Church Avenue, and I remember they had chicken for 39 cents a pound.
A pound?
39 cents for a pound. That's not even 50 cents for a pound. That's like, yeah. Well, how much is it? A pound is like a half of a.
455.
How much of a kilo
grams.
is it?
It's 454 grams.
So it's basically like half a kilo. So 2 pounds is a kilo. So it was, let's say, 80 cents. That's 8 crowns for a kilo. A kilo for 8 crowns of chicken. My dad, he put 2 trays, the oven trays. Put 2 trays of chicken, seasoned it all up, and was like, give me 1 tray for myself. He was like, eat. Bruh, I ate so much chicken. I was maxed out. I was like, I can't have no more chicken.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? I had my fill. And that was what I was thinking for the idiots that were supporting Trump. Once he got his power and they got to see how dysfunctional, how much chicken they would be eating, and the chicken ain't that good for you. You ain't got no rice, you ain't got no potatoes, you ain't got nothing. They'd be like, okay, I've had enough of that.
Well, some of them have, but a lot of them are hardcore true believers.
Look, Donald Trump's approval rating has changed so little since his first presidency. It's always hovered somewhere around 40%. And that shit is ridiculous. 40%, that means 60% of people think that you're doing a shit job and still you're fucking doing the things that you're doing?
He doesn't care. He's a complete narcissist with psychopathic tendencies, I'd argue.
I don't understand how the Republican Party supports his madness, because it's them that's gonna suffer. I'll be shocked if another Republican becomes president for the next at least 3 cycles after this.
Again, people are arguing that they're trying to put things into place.
So there won't be no elections. That's the only thing I can think of, because like I said many times before, it seems like he's acting in a way where he don't care about no elections. He don't care about the fact that he might get impeached in November.
So you're gonna love this then, because we've been talking about the alternative before, but somebody went now and asked him if he was going to actually retreat at 6 weeks, not retreat, but pull away the troops in 6 weeks. When
this is in Iran?
No, yeah, well, that's the timeline that he had said before, and now he's gone out and started comparing it to Vietnam.
How long was America in Vietnam for?
So 20 years or something, shit like that.
Yeah.
So I don't remember exactly how long, but I think it was that, and that is what we've been talking about. This is his excuse to start continuing an eternal war, which would then try and get him to not be elected. But this is, again...
No. For one, I did the research on it. There's nothing anywhere in the Constitution, even during presidential powers, even if Congress delays the election, it means that he can't be president during that delay.
But you're expecting him to follow the Constitution.
Yeah, I mean, or some mechanism inside the government, and it would have to be a complete coup.
That's what they've been trying to put in place, people who are loyalists to Trump, and they fired everyone else.
Yeah, we'll see. November's coming up. What are we in? Almost May now, end of April. We got another. November is the 11th month. We're in the 4th month. We got 7 months to go. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be very interesting.
Well, there's so much shit happening every goddamn day now, because the ceasefire isn't really much of a ceasefire.
There hasn't been. Well, technically, yes, there has been some cessation of hostilities, as they say on CNN.
A little bit, but still not. Lebanon was still attacked.
Because that was the problem. I mean, supposedly they thought they had a ceasefire in Iran, but Iran was like, no, if you're bombing Lebanon, we're going to keep going.
The bans. It's very clear that Lebanon was part of that agreement.
Exactly.
And then America said, no, those were not the parts that we agreed to, which is complete bullshit. Because Israel didn't give a fuck, and they want to take Lebanon. So they kept bombing it until the entire world went, what the fuck are you doing?
I mean, the reality is, at this point, it's like, how did it get this bad to where we have more faith in the information coming out of the Iranian regime than we do from the American government?
Because the American government has been lying and cheating and stealing for such a long time.
But not on this level, though.
Oh, yes, on this level.
Not on this level. At least before they would present us with a story, a package, you know what I mean? That was like, okay, this is nice and neat, and you don't need to look outside. if you don't look outside, everything looks good. There is no package now. There is no story. There's no fucking shiny window.
No, because he's a demented, motherfucking crazy old man, and not enough people have been going against him.
This motherfucker actually literally said to the rest of the world, "Hey, it's your oil. Come here and take it." You're the ones we don't really get.
Things.
We don't really get the oil from Hormuz. This is your guys' stuff. You should be here taking this oil.
I know. He is.
Who the fuck does he think it's like some mob shit? Does he think he's a fucking?
Yeah.
This is like some warlord shit.
They're acting like the people they're sworn to fucking fight against.
I mean, they pointed out some time ago that Putin has really been pushing for the idea that, what's it called? International law and governmental responsibilities on the international level have always been a farce.
Yeah.
And on some levels, I agree, because like I said, it's always been a story. They've always given you this package and all the rest of the stuff. But I can't say what I want to say. It's too hardcore. But it's like, sometimes you're in a bad situation, but you just like kiss me before you fuck me. You know what I mean?
But this is nothing new. Again, what's happening now is that people are getting more and more aware of what the United States has been doing for a long period of time. What he's doing now is extreme, but it's nothing really different. And we were talking about the military-industrial complex, like shit that I've been looking into now, which is not at all fun, and I don't know if I can really talk about it yet before I have some...
Well, get your facts straight before we start putting out there. Otherwise, it's very hard
yeah,
for me
but
to
like
edit.
again,
it's very difficult.
There's
for me
a lot of shit coming out now that if you put it together, is not painting a good picture.
I mean, the world is ugly, and the more access to information that we have, the more we get to realize how ugly things really are. You know what I mean? I think it's very difficult. 20, 30, 40, 100 years ago, it's very simple for you to hide what your intentions were. You create a narrative, you put it out there to whatever few media sources there were, and that becomes the reality of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like, for example, the issues that are happening now, have you heard of the Lavon affair?
Lavon?
It was Israel and Egypt. And Israel planned on bombing their own in Egypt. I don't remember if this was the embassy, but they were planning on doing a couple of explosions around Egypt, and they sent some Mossad agents down there, and they got captured while trying to do this.
Okay.
And I believe they hung 2 of them, and the 2 others, they're still alive, because there's pictures of them being taken right now with Netanyahu, and they're being called war or heroes for what they did. But that was something that was hushed up for a long time, and then I think recently, I don't exactly know the timeline, but Israel then came out and confessed that that was happening. And that is not the only red or white flag situation that has happened when you start looking into it. And now all of a sudden, Iran is blamed for bombings in London for Israeli ambulances, and it has the same hallmark.
When, recently?
Just now. I don't remember exactly.
Iran...
They're blaming Iran for some same thing, explosions that happened in London, claiming that this new Iranian terror cell that nobody's ever heard of, that doesn't exist on anybody's radar, all of a sudden just popped out of nowhere.
Because some weeks ago, Iran came out with a message saying that, hey, we know that there's going to be some false, people are trying to put some false flags out there saying that it's us, but it's not us.
Yeah, and that's what's happening right now. Mm-hmm. And it's, so again, when I've been looking into this, it's not painting a good picture. And that's all I want to say about that right now. And then I might be coming back with that when I have some other information, because I don't want to talk about the things that I'm talking about other than what you can look into this yourself, the Lavon affair. And
Levant,
then...
like Levant, like the area?
L-A-V-A-N, I believe. L-E-V-A-N, Levon.
Okay, because what's that?
It was the Prime Minister of Israel at the time.
Oh, okay, there we go. That makes more sense.
Yeah, so some crazy shit is going on out there, and looking
Always.
into it, it's not fun. It's quite fucking bothering and a headache, to be honest.
I feel like it's one step forwards, two steps backwards, because it's like we look at on one hand, and we don't- like we said before, we don't know exactly what this Magyar, the new president or prime minister of Hungary. We don't know what he's about, but at least there's hope that he's not going to continue with the same ideology. And
He's
with the
more
same-
than likely not going to continue the same ideology. He's going to be better, but he is still going to be
He's not
embedded.
going to be exactly. He's not going to be the dream. It's not like all of a sudden Hungary is going to become like this liberal paradise. But I mean, fucking Orban was building barbed wire fences at the border during the migrant crisis.
Yeah, again, like Fit's going to be very different in Hungary. That is for sure. And then in what ways,
Hope
we'll
so.
find out.
You know what I mean? So there's a few positive sparks, like just what happened in Canada before when they were having their elections. And supposedly the Conservative Party was online to win like a motherfucker. But then Trump started with his nonsense and showed what it might be like with a conservative government running Canada, and people made a complete U-turn.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of people who have issues about that guy too, but he seems, yeah.
So I would say there's at least, if we count Urban, if we count the Canada, and there was one other election that they felt like being a Trump ally was a negative. In Germany, with the ADF or it's AFD, Alternative for Deutschland. Yeah, supposedly Elon Musk coming out and trying to speak on their behalf.
He did multiple times.
That was not a positive. That was not seen positive in Germany. In fact, speaking of specifically in Germany, the value of Teslas or the sales of Teslas has completely cratered. Completely. It used to be
suck
one of
as a
their
company.
biggest markets.
Yeah, they suck as a company because they had to go to China and they had to give them a lot of their tech.
That's why BYD is killing it.
100%, because that was one of the demands that Chinese government had, that if you come here, you need to give us all your secrets. And then they did, and then in China, they don't have the same patent laws. So
Exactly.
people were like, ka-ching.
Yep.
Same thing, Apple went into China and did some weird
I
shit
mean,
as well.
personally, I think I would really like to go to China. I know that the Chinese system is not great, and there's lots of, they have this this one app that controls everything. Like it's a social media app, it's PayPal, it's your banking app, it's your transportation. You want to buy tickets to transportation, it's everything. And then you get social points within this app.
Yeah, of course you do.
So depending on what your high level is, it qualified to buy certain things. Like you can be high enough to like buy tickets to go to a different country or to go to the United States, or depending on if you're like under suspicion for being some kind of dissident, you can't go anywhere outside of your city, for example. They can just put you on neighborhood arrest.
Yeah, China is in the forefront of surveillance.
Cyber capabilities when it comes to controlling their population.
That's also what they're trying to implement.
They have facial recognition on the streets, so if you jaywalk,
It's not just on the street, it's satellites, it's everywhere.
no, but
They have-
specifically for
Yeah, I know.
jaywalking. So if you cross against the light, no
I've seen the
police comes,
videos of
you
what
just-
they see.
But maybe somebody out there hasn't seen this. So I'm talking to you. So I'm talking
Yeah.
to them through you.
So,
This is how we do the show, remember?
100%. Tell them.
I'm telling you, but I'm telling them.
Yeah.
Technically.
Well, anyway, but you're right. Like, if you look at the information that they see on a regular basis with all the cameras there,
Yeah.
every person is identified.
Exactly.
You have the score and everything.
Exactly.
And like technology is going to come, or is at a point already. Like this one dude, he wanted to just show how much information you can dig out by just somebody's information, and he has
Just from their name or what?
name and picture,
Okay.
and then he just goes around to random people, and then you see in his glasses, he just pulls up all this information about who they are, age, where they live, and everything. If
He has them in, that comes in your AI glasses now?
he has AI glasses that he specifically programmed using a program that goes and
In
sniffs
China?
information. No, this is in America.
In America?
This is some random dude. Yeah, China is like the extreme of it. But my point is, this technology is getting to a
It
point here.
exists.
Now, Palantir is already being implemented in the United States, which is the same thing. And we're trying to get the digital ID system going here as well.
There's Bank ID is a digital ID system.
Yeah, but now they want they want to have they want
A
a step
national
further, a European one that you can get on to that connects all of Europe.
Wow.
And like again, the fear mongering is that once these systems are in place, then they can control you, as we were talking about before with
Definitely
Australia.
monitor you.
Huh?
Definitely monitor you.
Well, they already do. Like I have an app on my phone that stops trackers, and I get a report, and like it's hundreds of thousands of trackers every day on all kinds of shit, and they are trying to find out my location, my OS, like all.
But you still got that RFID chip in your phone and all the rest of that stuff. And your IDs. The IDs have RFID chips now?
Yeah, but
Passports.
I don't know. Yeah, but RFIDs are not as useful as you think. RFIDs have like a limited.
But it needs to be read. Someone needs to read the information that's either on your card or from that station.
Yeah,
from that
again,
system.
what this is doing is stopping apps that you have on your phone
Yeah.
to snoop out and take information on you, which they keep gathering.
Okay.
So, for example, if you have location on Google
Can
on,
I ask you a question?
yeah,
What information were you trying to protect? Or are you personally trying to protect? Just asking, just throwing it out there.
I don't need anybody to know exactly where I am all the fucking time,
Okay, yeah.
what I'm looking at, what my interests are.
Why?
Because they're selling all of this information and they're gathering it as under the cloak of just giving you better advertisements that are personally tailored to you. But with this amount of information that they're selling to third parties, which should be gathered by nefarious corporations, example Palantir or other things, I don't need anybody to have that much information on me where I become some form of part of some analytics that this and that is getting decided about. I don't feel comfortable doing that because you can go fuck yourself, seriously.
I hear you. I have a different approach to it. but
I know you have
hear
a different approach of it, but like we're
We'll
not
see how
thinking
far-
clearly. Some people, for example, they want to know what data am I giving Google. So they downloaded all of it, and then you could, on a map, show exactly where you've been, trace the routes, and then by
Let me
accessing
ask you
your
something.
phone.
Should one day you get falsely accused of committing a murder, and if you had that information where they could track you and see where you weren't there at the time, do you think you would regret this?
What do you mean? So you saying that if I committed a
No, you did not. You did not.
hypothetical murder,
You did not commit a murder. You were home in bed with your telephone watching your YouTube or whatever you were watching. But now that they don't have your information, you can't use that as, look, see, I was at home. You don't have this tracking details.
yeah, but that's a very weird hypothetical. I could prove
Just
that through a
saying.
multitude of other things.
But let's say that's because it's just GPS location. Like, you see, my phone was there.
No, I don't think for that very specific hypothetical, if they don't know where I am, then I would have given a shit.
all the rest of your information just for that possibility.
You want me to see what I'm blocking on these motherfuckers?
It's gonna take a while. I hate when you fucking get all into these goddamn checking things while we're shooting.
Again, we need to do that. We
It's
need to
not
have
for
a
me to-
third party
Yeah,
to
we-
sit and do that in the back.
Once we start getting everything rolling and we start being a little bit more, for one, we need longer cables for the computers and stuff, so we can have someone like sitting over there and it can be like in the background and they're just like watching and we can be like, hey, Johnny, what do you think now? Or what's the truth about that?
but
And they
like,
can just click,
okay,
click.
my point being that by giving all of these apps, all of these rights over your digital self, there's a lot of lawsuits going out against, for example, Google and other companies because they have misused the
Yes.
information that they're gathering.
Yes, of course.
So again, regardless of what you don't think your data would be used for, you're fine with that. It's already been shown,
I'm
proven
not sure I'm
that
fine with it, but I'm just letting it ride for now.
you may let it ride. I don't. I go and opt out of as many fucking things. as I
Yeah, all the
possibly
cookies
can.
and stuff I don't really fuck with. But
Well,
that
cookies
goes without
sometimes
saying.
you need because without cookies, then shit doesn't work properly.
Yes, exactly. So they always ask you one essential cookies and you accept the essential cookies, but then the rest of them you can kind of keep. I don't want you fucking selling my shit just for selling its sake.
Yeah,
So people
again,
can
that's their
advertise
entire
to me.
pitch. You can see, like, they will tell you how many companies
And the
they're gonna sell.
vendors and what they do.
Yeah,
Which is, I don't think they do this in the States, do they?
of course they do.
Like give you the option to opt in and opt out?
Yeah.
I thought it was some shit that passed in the EU recently.
No, they aren't entirely
Like
retarded
every
with
website you go into, like literally every new website you go into now, you have to choose.
it. Cookies, yeah.
And then it's like that in the States? Oh, fantastic.
It's the same internet over there.
No. This is something passed in the EU a few years ago where they were required to do that. And for a while, as far as I know, you weren't required to do that in America. It was a very specific EU law that passed that you had to opt in to give companies the rights to use your information in that way. So literally, it's kind of annoying, to be honest with you. But when you look at it and see how many companies or how many people would have access to whatever information they have access to, it's a bit overwhelming.
Well, so it's the same thing. There's a Google setting. Everybody you know is talking about we were talking about this and that and then the other, and then this fucking commercial come on. That's a setting in Google.
Yeah.
You have to go in and find it and then unclick it. But that's a setting that when you use it, it's automatically there.
Yeah.
So you're telling, we already gave them the permission to listen at what we're doing 24/7.
Yeah, I was talking about getting braces the other day, and talking about it, not even searching or anything like that.
I know, talking.
And a couple of days later, some ad came up for transparent braces. I was like, damn, is my microphone on? What the fuck's going on?
No, again, it doesn't need your microphone. You gave it permission.
I was talking to someone. It wasn't online.
In the terms and conditions.
That they can listen to our conversations?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that.
That's my point I was talking about.
I think I had clicked out of that part.
No, you have to go and find the setting. It's deep within the rabbit hole of Google's terms and conditions. I didn't know about it until I read it, and then I was like, what the fuck? And then I went and found it, and sure enough, shit's automatically clicked in. And you don't know that it's there.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's fucked. And that's my point. You have no idea what the amount of other data that they're trying to get on you is.
But
we are living in cyberpunk reality right now with some of the shit that's coming out. I don't know, you know how they found the downed U.S. soldier? Supposedly.
Well, how did they find him?
They have this AI system, something Murmur, I don't remember what, but it's called Murmur because it is an AI that can distinguish between electromagnetic signals for out to 40 kilometers, I want to say, but it's a far distance.
Okay.
And it can locate your heartbeat.
Get the fuck out of here.
I'm not getting the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here.
I'm not getting the fuck out of here. This is all over the internet. You can look it up.
What?
That's how they...
How the fuck do they hear your heartbeat from 40 kilometers away to begin with?
That's why everybody's freaked out. Look it up. It's something Murmur. It's some AI crazy shit.
You have to be able to lock in, not even frequencies, it's in the natural environment.
It's able to distinguish between the environment and this signal.
Millions.
It is some crazy fucking tech. And this is just one of the things that we're now finding out. I read patents online that are like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I saw them online and they were like, if you don't believe me, here's the patent. Look it up for yourself. And I went and I read these patents and sure enough, there is some weird shit.
Murmur AI.
It's something, it's two words, something Murmur. But if you look in AI, Murmur,
because Murmur is like what happens to your heart when it's like beating
exactly,
irregularly.
That's why
or something like that.
It can distinguish.
Yeah. Wow.
It's crazy. And that's only just one of the few things that is coming out right now. So yeah, I feel like a lot of the shit that I was growing up with, thinking like was cyberpunk back then is now
living
reality.
in the future.
We also live in 1984 now, when you can just flip and turn what the truth is from one day to the next. Looking what Trump is doing right now, it's like textbook right out of that fucking novel.
I've read that book. I read that book once, and I saw the movie twice. And it's eerie how close we are to that right now.
Well, so China is moving in on Taiwan now, being pretty...
Where are you getting this from? I haven't seen that.
They're not moving in to attack, but they're moving in and getting very comfortable around the Chinese Sea. They did a blockade against the Philippines.
I mean, if I was China, I would just go for it right now.
Yeah, because this is the thing. If they take that over, then they would take over the chip
world.
Production. Not
exactly.
just that. They'll
everything.
take over the chip production.
Everything.
And Taiwan is exporting, I think, 90% of the U.S.
If they went for Taiwan specifically now, I don't think, for first and foremost, there would be any reasonable resistance from the Trump or Trump admin.
They wouldn't have a reason to resist, but...
Yeah, they have deals with Taiwan to protect them.
Yeah, but again, they're already bungled up in this fucking Iran
Yeah,
deal.
but if you a treaty is a treaty. You know what I mean? If something happens, you're supposed to help me out. You can't be...
But he's pulled out of treaties a million times
That's
before.
the problem, and that's the situation. If there's ever been a time, because now you're talking about a real war with almost equal adversary. You're not talking about Iran that has, 90 million people, which is still a lot of people, but America has 350 million people. China has 1.3 billion. They have 1 billion more people than America has. Regardless of what the technological advantages are, that is a completely different battle. You know what I mean? I don't think Trump has the balls. I don't think he has the stomach. I don't think he has the capability to do anything, especially if they're not attacking America directly. And even if they was, I think he would find a way to chicken out of that. I don't think that that's going to happen. So if I was China, that's the move I would make right now. That would completely fuck up the world, though.
Yeah.
We would be in a
fuck up
completely
America
different-
specifically.
Bro, everything
rest
is...
of- I mean-
what?
China and Europe aren't in that big of a battle with each other.
Taiwan. We're talking about Taiwan.
If China would
takes
take over Taiwan, they're not going to stop the exports to other countries.
Taiwan's
like
gonna blow up the chip factories. They already told them
they?
everything's fucking
rigged, blown.
rigged. They're not gonna just let them have it. You're talking about years
I
of
haven't
delays.
actually looked into it on that level. I guess I just saw that they were kind of making moves right now.
Look, China has always thought that Taiwan is undiscussable part of China. China's always thought Taiwan was a part of China. No questions about it. The funny thing is, Taiwan thinks China's a part of Taiwan because they feel like, at least during the revolution, the people who consider themselves the legitimate rulers of China, they moved over to Taiwan. So according to them, Taiwan was now the head or the capital city of China. So they're waiting for the mainland to come to them, and the mainland is like, you come to us. You belong to us. You know what I mean? So I don't think that these people are gonna just, okay, we give up. And the only leverage they have are those chip factories. They're not gonna be like, okay, if you can come, you can have them. I would say at least
If they blow them
50%.
up, then the world's fucked.
Everybody, bro. Economy crashes.
They're trying to make new chips around the globe so they
Everybody
don't have
said.
to.
I don't understand. Like, that is to me a bit of it's a bit irresponsible to have one country make all of such a, not all, but the majority of such a very vital resource,
China is making moves to make their own chips.
But that's
now.
going to take years, and the expertise it's not like, I'm just going to build a factory. It's not like building a car factory. It's super duper clean, super duper precise technology that has to be used. They're putting billions of circuits in centimeters. You know what I mean? They're working on almost atomic levels.
I know, it gets crazy when you start looking
You
at
see what I'm saying? It's nothing that's just like, I'm just gonna throw a factory together and be ready up and running in a year or two. That's gonna be like a decade to fucking do all the research, do all the fine tuning, fix the problems that come along.
They're doing it right now, so.
So let's say they started 3 years ago, or even 5 years ago.
I don't think they're at production, but they're
No, but then let's say they
moving
started the
towards it.
process 5
Yeah.
years ago. We're still looking at another 2 to 5 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Potentially.
So I think that with the chaos that's happening in the world right now, a real shift, a real sea change could happen. And that's going to change things for a lot of us. I personally just hope that there's no war. It seems like now there's been so much less chatter about Greenland. Who knows what's going to happen? Because, I think this Iran thing has kind of woken them up and made them realize that regardless of how powerful your
exactly.
military is, you can't just bully your way through every situation.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So I think the Greenland talk is maybe on the shelf. But who knows what someone else is going to do? China could decide to do something. Russia could decide to do something even crazier than what they're doing now.
Yeah, the Ukraine war is kind of like falling off of the sidelines, but they're still duking it out. They had some major wins on the Ukrainian side where they were blowing up some Russian shit.
Yeah, I think it's powerful what they're doing. I think it gives hope to all these, smaller countries, even like Iran right now, they're looking at like, yo, look what Ukraine's over there
But the funny
doing.
thing is, why is it okay for Ukraine to defend themselves, but not Lebanon and not Palestine? And
Who's
when they
saying
are
that?
the rest of the world, they're
The rest of
arresting.
the world, who?
They're arresting people in England for posting pro-Palestine things, and that's getting to the point where you're not allowed to. You're considered a terrorist if you think that
Are
Palestine.
they arresting
has the
people
rights.
for posting pro-Israeli things?
No, of course not. That's my point. They have now gotten to
Because
the
we
point.
just anti-war, you're like, oh, we don't want no propaganda.
No, they're anti certain people defending themselves from specifically Israel.
Yeah.
At this point in time, because Israel has the psychotic right to do whatever the fuck they want, which is complete insanity. And again, that's why it's so weird. Why certain people are allowed to defend themselves and others are not.
I don't know how many people out there watching is from Israel or have family in Israel or Israeli friends. But if there's anything that y'all can do to change the situation, to help the situation, because at the end of it, these people are doing this in your name. They are trying to create security. They're trying to expand territory. Whatever they're doing, they're not saying, Benjamin Netanyahu is not saying, I'm doing this for myself. He's saying that I'm doing this for Israel and for the people of Israel. So y'all's voices matter most. I know it's difficult when you live in a culture, when you maybe have friends or family who have lost their lives because of the fighting. I saw a clip on YouTube of people who lost their loved ones to this violence, specifically going out and saying, hey, we don't want revenge. We want this to end. And if it has to end with the death of our family members, so be it. You know what I mean? I think that's an incredibly powerful statement. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure if I can make that statement.
Well,
but
again,
to y'all out there who have blood in the game, as you say it, let this be the end of it. Whatever y'all can do to kind of push things in a different direction, please take the time, energy to try to do that. Sorry.
Yeah, no, there's protests. There are people burning their, what are they called? Draft papers.
Yeah, it has to be done. This is not right.
No,
and it's causing, the ripple effects are spreading throughout the rest of the world, and it's emboldening other people to behave inhumanely. You know what I mean? And we it's 2026, people. It's time for real change.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. And
on that note, it's been an hour and some change now. Hour and 4 minutes. The same things we were talking about last week are the same things that's happening now. These people are spreading hate, and they're killing people in the Middle East. And
yeah, if we don't stand up and demand change, then we let them fucking go about their business and be complete psychopaths. So
exactly.
You have to do what you can, and speaking up is the least you can do.
Exactly.
So
inform yourself, take a stand, make a change. Or at least shut the fuck up and stay on the sidelines to get out the way. Don't be a part of the problem.
yeah, be a part of the solution.
Yep. Thai style.
Zen Zero,
Dunkin' on Donnie.
we out.